Hi, I'm Gracie Star. Information will always be in the description, and if I'm talking too slow, feel free to hold this down. This is my review of The Beginning After the End, episodes 1 through 3. Now, let's get into the basics. So, this came out spring 2025, and it's an action, comedy, fantasy, sake, reincarnation, swordplay type anime. This anime is about King Gray, who was this kid before he was reincarnated, and he had wealth, power, money, prestige, anything that any person could arguably want, but he was a wicked, wicked king. He was a shell of a person, and he got a second chance to live life. One thing about this anime that I thought was interesting is that we still hear the internal voice of who he was before he was reincarnated, and we still get flashbacks about his old life. Okay, but let's talk about other stuff like the intro. The intro is fire, okay? And this is coming from the girl who skips intros. Like, it's fire. And what I like about the intro is it's short, okay? I feel like these intros are always ridiculously long, which is why I skip them. So, things you should know about this anime if you are a skipper like me. After each episode, after the end credits, there's actually an end scene. Funny enough, after I watched episode 2, I was about to skip the end credits and go right to episode 3, but then I realized there was a scene afterwards. So I watched that, then I had to go back to episode 1 to watch the scene after that because we also skipped. So watch all of the episodes all the way through. Don't be me, don't skip it. Let's talk about some pros and cons. If I can be completely honest with you guys, I wasn't sold at first and I really didn't think I was going to like it. I continued to watch it based off principle because I typically give shows 3 episodes before I decide to drop it. So what I've learned about this anime is that it's a slow starter. To be completely honest, nothing super interesting happens in the first episode. And I would say nothing super duper interesting happens in the beginning of the second episode. There was definitely a scene in episode 2 that felt like it happened just to move the plot along. But honestly, that is the scene that made me cry. And once I started crying, I realized okay, there might be more to this show than I originally thought. Now, let's talk about some pros. I've actually thought there was going to be a large time skip, and there wasn't. So I expected a huge time skip after episode 1 because typically that's what these shows do, but there actually wasn't one, which is nice. And you really get to see his character growth. Like, comparing who he was as a wicked king to who he is now. What I like is that he's not automatically a better person just because he got reincarnated. We literally get to see his growth. So based off of these 3 episodes, it seems like the plot is also going to be super multifaceted, which I think is interesting. So okay, should you watch it? Give it a shot. Keep in mind that I personally think it's a slow starter. So keep that in mind while you're watching it. But just because something is a slow starter doesn't mean it's not going to get good. I am excited and hopeful for the remaining episodes. I think it'll get interesting, but only time will tell. If you like this, let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.